Peace. Today we are discussing the emotional cleansing that's coming up on a collective spectrum. The very first card that came out to me was the Sun in the tarot deck. This is speaking to, yes, enjoyment, right? But I think more so for the Sun to come out is actually speaking of a purification process, right? When there's like negative energies, toxic energies, you can go out to the sun, purify with the sun, get grounded, right? In that energy, let the sun be very cleansing. To me, this is an aspect of the cleansing of old wounds, right? Whether it is on a conscious level or unconscious level, subconscious levels. I do know there's been a lot of tears that have been coming up. So people can be very emotional at this point in time, whether you're allowing yourself to allow the release to happen or not. There are things that are coming up to be addressed with. Um, and I do feel like more so for those who've been doing the work, more so for those who are getting into the line into alignment with the divine, for showing up in this new chapter of their lives from a very authentic version of self. These wounds that you've had are being washed away. They're being cleansed through the tears that you're allowing to flow, right? To these wounds that are old, that no longer serve you. But I think it's also understanding on a deep collective spectrum that these tears aren't just necessarily flowing because of these old wounds to cleanse. It's because you know that what you're stepping into next, whatever it may look like, it's not going to be the same cycle of the wounds that you've experienced before, the wounds that kept you in a disempowered state. This is really beautiful, but it's really difficult, especially when you're like, you might be watching something and just start bawling. I know I've been watching like shorts on YouTube and I'm like, oh, humanity. And I'm actively crying, because it's an aspect of whatever's going on that I feel faith in humanity being restored. And in this, you know that you may still have fears, right? Because what we've gone through in the past shaped us, and it's been very treacherous to get out of certain cycles and believe that even new and wonderful things are possible. But there's an aspect of you that's starting to believe and starting to not even believe. It's a knowing, it's an inner knowing that things are going to be different. And in this is a moment where it's like, okay, I'm crying for those aspects of myself that never thought that anything could ever change or ever get better, that the world wouldn't reflect its, the beauty to you, the beauty that you actively have and hold with inside yourself. And to understand that the divine is coming through, right, in ways that may have even seemed impossible. There's this deep emotional cleansing that it's taking place to allow those that are meant to rise up, and not keep looking at the past, not keep looking at what has held them down, because that is not your story. You're on a new chapter in your life because you are showing up for yourself. The next card that came up was Judgment. I feel like this is an aspect where there's a deep release that's happening. This beautiful deep release isn't necessarily where you're doing something about those that hurt you. You're giving it to God. You're giving it to the divine. You're allowing the ancestors, your team, to show up for you. And this is where those that dabbled in evil, energies, those that dabbled in energies that have been nefarious to the collective, even to individuals within the collective, they're going to get their payment, their dues, right? What they put out there is coming for them. And your hands are going to stay clean. This is the best. So the best energy that I can give at this point is, as these wounds are coming up and they're being cleansed, right? And understanding that this is a new chapter. Don't go into this chapter of your life and think that those that done you wrong are going to get away with it. They're not, but your hands will remain clean. This is where you give it to God. The karma, the cycle ends. They can no longer continue to come after you. Um, the next card is Page of Wands. Okay, this is This is a messenger. I feel like this is an aspect of you listening to your own voice, rising to the occasion of your life, honoring self, right? Because when we talk about the divine doing all these things and these beautiful miracles, excuse me, said the just, these beautiful miracles taking place, it doesn't just happen overnight, right? Or because um we sit here and we wish for something to happen and then take no action on it. This is taking place because you are taking that action, and now the divine, you've been taking this action, right? And now the divine is showing up in your life in ways that you never imagined. And there is the 10 of cups. To me, this is a fulfillment. To me, this is kind of happy family, happy home, right? But this is speaking to happiness within, and this is being expressed in your life, in your day-to-day life, where now it's a happy home, it's a happy family reflection dynamic, you know. And this is where happy families are created when you start doing the work yourself. Now this is being extended to the descendants and those that you are ultimately engaging with, because your past experiences have afforded you the ability to use discernment and wisdom in moving forward and who you connect with, right? um I did get a fork in the road type of energy, right? Because this is a collective energy. The things that are coming up in the collective, in this emotional cleansing, right? For those who haven't been doing the work actively, right, but you've had a lot of trauma, you're being faced with a particular decision at this time. Either you're going to really show up for yourself, show up and show out, or you're going to allow to yourself to stay in a disempowered state, right? And it doesn't mean that those that had done anything against you get away with it. It means that you are still stuck in that trauma cycle, in that trauma loop, right? Of replaying it. You keep looking at the past instead of looking forward. And this can be a very dangerous situation, because when we replay these woundings, these traumas, the mind doesn't understand what's happening, right? So if you're stuck in your trauma, and rightfully so, I don't want to sound excuse me, insensitive or without lacking compassion, because I've also gone through a lot of trauma. And I understand that. And we need to express the hurt that we've gone through. But there's a difference in expressing it and processing it and working through it, and that can take years, you know depending how deep the wounding is. Or not even, or and then eventually we move past it, because that's the whole point. So you don't want to get caught in this particular cycle, or in this particular loop, where you keep replaying those woundings and keep giving that power. This is a season where now you take your power back, okay? um the flag came up, and to me this is speaking to um achievement. You've achieved a new state within yourself, a new balance within. And so this emotional cleansing is sitting here saying it doesn't erase the memories, okay, of the past. It doesn't erase excuse me, the memories of the hurt. It doesn't erase the wounding, you know, but it allows you to see, when you reach kind of like the mountaintop, or the hilltop, you're able to see from a different vantage point. You're able to see how these experiences afforded you opportunities to grow. It afforded you insights and wisdoms. And what is this life if not an opportunity to expand our consciousness and continuously go through the process of refinement and evolution within self, right? To connect more so with the creator every single day, through experiences, through finding ourselves, through finding the love within, through finding the compassion for self. We have the checkered flag, okay, as well. So it's like flag, okay. To me, this is saying, this is like a conclusion. This is like a closing of the book, and a reopening of a new, or not reopening, cancel, closing of the book, and the writing, the scripting of a new one. So this is your time and your decision in life, whereas you're realizing that you're not trapped in these same cycles, right? That the divine is showing up for you, that those that have hurt you ultimately are getting their just due, and that is between them and God. You keep your hands clean. This is where you now decide what your life wants to look like. This is where you now make decisions of the friends that you keep in connection with. This is now the decisions, of your life, of the career. Are you choosing to be in alignment with the call of your heart? Are you choosing to go back into the matrix, so to speak, and get a 9 to 5? Like, you're not limited to what comes next, but you have to believe, you have to be willing. This emotional cleansing has it's a lot been going on for me. And under the 10 of Cups, we have the family card. And for me, again, the 10 of Cups is speaking to like a happy family, happy home, contentment, husband, wife. Um, this is speaking to, I feel like this is a new beginning, a purity within the bloodlines that's taking place. Again, we are establishing new forefronts, for the collective. And in this, I feel like it's strongly based off of authenticity, you know? Um, and I was talking to my divine masculine yesterday, and I was telling him, like there's a lot of things that I want to achieve, especially with helping the collective and things like that. And bringing these messages, I feel so blessed by the divine to even be afforded this opportunity. But more than anything, what I want and what I need at this particular moment in my life is our connection. Is I need, to feel truly loved, authentically, unconditionally. I want to explore our connection even more, you know? And I say all that to say is that we sometimes have these big goals and these big dreams, and it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with big goals and big dreams, but we wind up taking ourselves out of the present moment because of the pressures of society, right? The wounding, that's taking place. And when these woundings are coming up and there's this emotional cleansing that's happening, we have to be careful, again, for the fork in the road people. We have to be careful to not go down the path of, oh, because of trauma, I have to be in a fight or flight survival mode. That's not where we're at anymore. Okay. This is a very different. Now, if you want to be in that flight or survival mode, that is a fight or flight. That is a personal choice. Okay. Um, what's happening now is, I feel like this emotional cleansing is allowing people to ultimately be in the present moment of their life, of their lives. And being in the present moment, it doesn't mean that you stop pursuing your goals, but there's a detachment that's taking place. It's a detachment because you're understanding that what is needing to take place more than anything is the self-love, the self-care, pouring into self, honoring the aspects of yourself that feel, they need something else. And for me, because I've haven't really had a lot of unconditional love in my life, I haven't had the best experiences. I need at this moment to have fun. I need to grow with my partner. I need to be like a kid with him and just explore life, and whatever alignments take place for the highest good, at that point, they will, you know, while busy enjoying my life, what I want will come to me. It will align, but I have to be busy enjoying my life and enjoying the present moment as you should be busy enjoying your life and enjoying the present moment to bring everything full circle. Because what we truly want isn't going to be aligned with us from a state of despair or this needs to happen or I need this to happen to pay my bills. This is an aspect where now you're saying what you really want. And the overarching card was a telephone for the oracle. I didn't do it for the tarot, so I apologize. But I feel like this is speaking to communication, because now you are honoring the true the true call of your voice, of what you actively need, not what you desire. Because guess what? This spiritual path and the things that I want to do, as a spiritual healer, as a spiritual consultant, a shaman, a psychic, a medium, and all these other things, I love that. That desire is never going to go away. But what's more important for me at this particular point in time, it's my life. It's the love that I felt I didn't have. And now I know that I need that love. And I'm not looking for that love in the wrong places. I'm not looking to have myself desensitized or have my time filled with people who are not truly pouring into me because I'm pouring into myself. I have my beautiful teams, my beautiful guardians, my beautiful reflection pouring into me. And because now I have that, that is where I'm at. You see, collective, we put these thoughts of being big, right? Or of being, massive healers because we needed massive healing, or we've been shown by the constructed system, false system, that you need to have this, you need to have this, you need to have this in order to be happy. And reality, being loved properly is truly one of the best joys and happiness in life that anyone can ever achieve. And it starts with loving yourself. And in this aspect, because you are uh, using your voice to honor what you truly need, there is communication. This is throat chakra upgrades, okay? That's happening. This is communication with self on deeper levels. This is where the wounded self is even speaking to the self that's healing, to express these concerns, and you can look and say, you know what, thank you for letting me know your concern, for expressing where you're at. This is not how things are going to go. It's going to be very abundant. It's going to be very beautiful, you know, and allow God to work miracles in your life, and you can feel it. This is why there is an emotional processing. There's been a lot of emotional release this week that's been happening, and you may not even know what it's specifically um, attached to. For some, this is, wounds that are coming up, to be cleansed through the tears. And for others, there's a deep recognition and realization that you are no longer in those cycles. And in that, there is this deep faith being restored in humanity, regardless of what they show on social media, regardless of what they show on the news. You know that things are changing, and they're changing in your own life, and you're going to see the hand of God move specifically. But ultimately, it starts with acknowledging what you need at the present moment, not the desired outcome of, oh, this is the destination of what I want to reach in my life. Listen, I want to impact and touch the world with the wisdoms that I've gained, my spiritual gifts and my spiritual insights. I want everyone to go on their healing journey. But more than anything, I need to be replenished in the love that I've needed in my life for a long time. And my journey has been long, and I've gone through a lot. And I'm choosing to honor myself in this season of my life. And I feel things are changing. And I hope that in this season of your life, you are choosing to honor yourself as well. And don't be afraid of crying, whether you are a man or a woman. Allow those tears to flow from your eyes and cleanse the unseen wounds that are there, the triggers, the hurts, and even allow the tears to fall and restore your faith in humanity, okay? Because that's where it's at now. And trust me, the media would not want you to believe it, but we're here. So, y'all, thank you for listening to this message from me in spirit. That's all. Take care. Peace.